Every day when I walk out of my safe little apartment and into the real world, I have to worry about if I'll be objectified for what I'm wearing. It doesn't matter if I'm dressed modestly, it's still an ever-present concern. Depending on the situation, I react in different ways. Sometimes I just like to give the guy the finger. Others, I'd prefer to push him in a bush and laugh at him. But at the core of it all, I still just feel even more self-conscious about my body type than I did before. Unfortunately, being catcalled is a daily reality for all too many living in the society that we've built. It doesn't seem to matter how we dress, women especially are subjected to the tradition of catcalling, whistling at someone that a person finds attractively dressed. But why do we live in a culture where catcalling is so common? It's not just happening in big cities either. It's about once a week that I experience being catcalled while tying my shoe or crossing the street on my small Christian college campus. Maybe it's me being overly analytical, but when a person whistles at someone they find attractive, it's reducing their worth to an animal. We call attention to our pets in this very way. By whistling at people, we are sending the message that their worth is that of an animal. Even if catcalling seems like a harmless activity or even a compliment, we are unknowingly causing issues of self-esteem to so many. Rather than stating we appreciate someone for their personality or their intellect, we're reducing them to the value of their outward appearances. If we wish to empower women to become strong and bold women who go forth to change the world, we've got to stop doing the catcalling and accepting what our society tells us is okay. Stop the catcalling. In the last year, there's been a blog started by one of the students who went to my college. Katie Hang started her blog called Stop the Catcall and posts pictures of women wearing what they were catcalled in. If you would like to see some of the pictures that I've been catcalled in, you can look at the end of my post here. And I really encourage you to check out Katie Hang's website, Stop the Catcall. Perhaps what I find the most disturbing about the issue of catcalling is the way in which some more conservative Christians tend to place the blame on the victim. I mean, seriously. If someone has been catcalled, clearly they were asking for it and need to put more clothes on. In churches today, we hear a lot about how women shouldn't tempt their brothers in Christ. But what happened to compassion and empathy for the Christian spirit? What happened to respecting one another? We somehow left behind one of the fruits of the spirit of self-control and continue to convict women. And too often, this convicting is a Christian front for outright shaming. It's time that those convicting women step out of the dark and see the issue at face value. While I value the idea of dressing modestly in the sense of humility, it's also important that we're raising men and women to respect one another and value more than outward appearances. One of the first steps in doing so is the elimination of catcalling. Stop the catcalling! Though it won't solve everything, it's a step in the right direction. And if all Christians can begin to see one another as they really are, beautiful creations of God with complex and intricate characteristics, we just might begin to respect one another again. And it's that same respect that I hope my students will use both inside and outside of my classroom. I doubt it will happen in my lifetime, but it is my hope that one day we will create a generation that will respect one another. I hope that women won't have to leave their house worrying about being objectified that day, and men won't feel like they have to continue the pseudo-macho tradition of catcalling. It's my hope that instead we'll aim for something more. We'll aim for something more than looks and instead seek perfect spirits.